there, this is Crystal with Wedding Secrets and Heirloom Photography, and I am here today with Brittany Bland Boyd, and she does cakes, wedding cakes and event cakes. And I know we all love cakes. A lot of us have no idea really what we're looking for when we're looking for cakes, other than we want it to be pretty. Um,
And tastes good.
and taste good. Although I will say, I have found people who just assume that the cake is going to be dry and ucky and they just want it to look pretty, which is so not true.
Sad
Unfortunately,
truth.
I have been to weddings where that was true when I was photographing weddings, and I'm like, clearly they were cared more about the decorating the cake than they did about whether or not it was edible.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy.
I have tasted my fair share of wedding cakes. And so I know the good ones, and I'm always like, okay, is this gonna be good? Because you never know.
Well, let's hope your tasting went well.
Right. Yeah. Some people don't do ta tastings or they just don't have time
Yeah.
for it.
That's what I found out too. I was always surprised by that. I was like, whoa, you don't want to taste. You just trust me.
And even like, so we actually made a trip specifically. So I got married in
Mm.
Paso Robles, which is a 3 hour drive away, 3.5 hour drive away.
Yeah.
We went down there several times for the wedding, and one of them was specifically to do a wedding cake t tasting
Hmm.
and to in person check out our caterer.
Okay.
And we actually, it wasn't free. We had to buy cupcakes, but we went through and we bought like a dozen different flavors. And
Nice.
some of them were just amazing, and others I was like, eh. So
Hmm.
just because somebody is a good baker doesn't mean you're gonna like all the flavors.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Have
we
our
had,
taste preferences.
yeah, like some people hate red velvet. I love red velvet. I think it's great.
I think it's good when it's not dry.
That's true. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. Well, I think that's the case with most things, right?
Yeah.
So I know for our wedding, we decided to do a three-tier cake. It was fairly simple, design, but we wanted three different flavors for people to choose from.
Hmm.
And we went with red velvet, uh, the Dutch chocolate, like really dark chocolate, and
Yeah.
carrot cake.
Yeah.
Um, and I will say that all of those froze really well, and I had my last bit of cake a
Yeah.
couple months ago.
Wow.
It was a
Nice.
little dry, but it still tasted good.
Okay. The flavor was there, not necessarily the moistness.
No, no, no.
And
And
how did you preserve it? Like, how did you like wrap it up?
not the way I should.
Okay, because I'm like, if you wrap it up right, it still should be moist inside. Especially those flavors, usually they freeze very well.
See, now my cake decorator did not tell me how to preserve it. So how would you preserve it
Mm.
correctly?
So I would definitely like take your cake, usually like it's on a cake board.
Yeah.
I would like either you can like cut it up a little bit, and then just like wrap it with saran wrap and then put it in like a freezer bag. That's what I would
Oh,
do.
okay.
Yeah.
So we just stuck it in it's one of our metal nice containers that I got for my on my bridal
Mm,
shower. I love it, but it has a lot of air in it. And
yeah.
that's
You
what
want
did
to
it.
seal in the moisture.
Yeah. So looking back, I'm like, I probably should have known better. We were kind of in a rush because we were headed towards our honeymoon, but that's good to know. So like wrap it with like saran wrap and then put it
Mhm.
in a nice safe container.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, that's good to know. As you know, I had fondant on my cake, and so that's
Hmm.
mainly what I ate. A lot of people hate the taste of it. I love the taste of it because I'm weird like that, and I admit that.
I don't think it's weird.
It's pure sugar. If you are diabetic,
Hey,
don't
no.
recommend it.
I mean, it's your wedding. You can have whatever you want.
Yeah. I had ice cream truck too, just in case people don't like for the non-cake people of the group.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I love
So,
making ice cream. It's so much fun.
really, you make ice cream?
Yeah, because I make Italian meringue buttercream. So I
Mhm.
always have a bunch of, which requires like egg whites.
Mhm.
So I always have a bunch of like egg yolks left over. And then like I just have cream and milk. And so I just like decide to like make my own ice cream. And I'm thinking like maybe I should make some like ice cream
I
cakes.
was
That
about
would
to
be really
ask if you do
good.
that.
I've made ice cream. I made one ice cream wedding cake. A couple just trusted me to do it. I was like honored and it turned out so great. But I used an ice cream company, like a local one that they really loved. And then I combined my like carrot cake with that. It was a very unique flavor. It was like Indian inspired ice cream, super
Oh,
delicious.
wow.
Um, and so, yeah, it turned out very well. And there was like a lot of ice cream, a lot of cake, and then whipped cream icing on the
That
outside.
sounds so good. Ice cream cake is my favorite kind of cake.
Yeah, I honestly like it's dangerous for me like making my own ice cream because I can make whatever flavor I want and I just like make my favorite flavor and then
Ugh.
I just kind of eat the whole tub and it's a little problematic.
Yeah, ice cream is my Achilles heel. That's why I generally don't keep it in the house because
Say.
it does not last in the house. That my dad is the same way. Actually, my dad was just here for Father's Day and I bought Rocky
Oh,
Road,
yeah.
and between the two of us, it's almost gone.
Wow. How was your trip?
Oh, it was so much fun. We went to Yosemite and it was really busy. I was actually surprised that I didn't see any weddings there because this is
Oh,
the season for weddings. But
it is, yeah.
we went by all the places that they have weddings and there were no weddings going on. So but it was really beautiful. It was crowded. We got campsites like last minute.
Hmm.
Um, but it was a lot of fun. And it was just a quick, like, we were there for 1 day, 2 nights, basically. And then
Okay.
we headed out to Reno for my cousin's graduation. It's a busy weekend. It was like a busy
Yeah.
Father's Day slash graduation for a lot of people.
That's what I noticed also. I don't know, for me, you say like June is kind of busy. May is like insanely busy for me, like more than any like other month. Well, like outside of like the spring kind of summer months. Um, it definitely is like I don't know if like there's a lot of like graduations or just like other things happening that people like maybe try to avoid like conflicting
Yeah, so
or like
June's a
their
big
wedding.
travel month. So I think a lot of people
Yes.
vacation in June. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why people plan their events in May. Because June used to
Yeah.
be, a June bride. That used to be the thing. And now it's really not so much a thing anymore.
Yeah,
It's like
I'm
a
noticing.
spring bride or a fall bride. And then you have the few
Mhm.
summer ones like me in there. Uh
Yeah, I love the fall.
yeah.
Well, October is very busy as well.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. October is the busiest month. And after I just went to the Sacramento Wedding Fair, the amount of May and October weddings
Mhm.
for 2026.
Yeah,
So
and I'm like, get on the calendar quick because
yeah, and a lot of people
you
are like,
can
oh,
only
I
do
have
so
plenty of
many.
time. I have plenty of time. It's like, yeah, you can always find
Mhm.
somebody. Yes, you
Yeah,
can always find somebody, but is it the somebody that you want? Maybe not.
exactly. Yeah.
And I had trouble. There was only two cake people in the area that actually did what I used fondant, and so I had trouble finding the cake dinner. And it was last minute too. And one of the companies was so rude to me that actually said to me, "You should have come to us a year ago. I don't know why you're coming to us so late." And I'm just like, I wasn't engaged a year ago. Okay. I'm older. I'm getting engaged and we're getting married all in like less than 6 months. So,
It's like you don't know my life.
right. And I was just like, well, I don't want to give you, and their desserts were okay. So I was like, I'm so glad I found the
You
person,
dodged the bullet anyway.
yeah, who works out of their house. And it was fantastic. And so, yeah.
Nice.
But so what would you say is probably the thing to stay away from when you're thinking about ordering cakes?
Um,
Like, is there
let's
flavors that
stay
not a
away.
good idea? So for like that's a good question. So if you're gonna have an outdoor wedding and your cake's gonna be outdoor in the sun,
Oh,
that's a good question.
The whipped cream. Everybody wants this whipped cream and their outdoor weddings. And I'm just like, you're giving me a panic attack. Just like, and I did have one a couple that they were dead set. I don't even offer whipped cream on the outside of my cakes
Mhm.
because I really love the buttercream to like keep it stable. It
Mhm.
does like such an amazing job at keeping it stable. And it's also like Italian meringue buttercream, so it tastes good. It's not
Mhm.
like you're getting American buttercream. It's like overly sweet.
Not like the stuff from Safeway, which I don't know about.
Exactly, yes. Which I actually worked at there, which I don't even think it's really true American butter. It's something else completely. But I I definitely like encourage people to like just do Italian meringue buttercream on the outside. And then on the inside, you can have whatever you want. You want whipped cream inside? Sure. But I did have a couple that were like dead set on they wanted peach cobbler
Mhm.
cake. And my peach cobbler cake has fresh peaches inside. It has like the peach cobbler filling.
Oh, yummy.
It's yeah, but then it also they wanted whipped mascarpone on the outside of the
Huh.
cake.
Okay.
And mind you, it was a huge cake. It fed like almost 100 people.
Yeah.
So having a cake of that size, it's like super heavy and like I have to like support it. You know, I have to put like a lot of supports in it. But then like you're giving me like cream, like something that's so delicate
Oh.
that doesn't have a lot of stability to like play with. So that was like very difficult. I like arrived. And another thing with having fresh fruit, I think the acidity of like the fruit
Mhm.
is like breaking down the cream. So it's like
Oh.
yeah, there's like a lot going on
That's
there
well, baking
too.
is a science. I think people
There
forget
we
that.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. And so like you're not winning either way because I notice when I do, everyone wants like strawberry shortcake. They want the fresh strawberries inside, whipped cream on the outside, but the strawberry like really interferes with the whipped cream and just like breaking it apart. And I
Yeah.
make very tall cakes, so I need the cakes to be very stable. So long story short, the cake, like when I arrived there, I opened up the box and it like slid over.
Oh God.
And I was like, I was like so frustrated. So then I have like, I always bring my tools
Hmm.
so that I can like fix things on the spot because you just never know.
Yeah.
Like, you really never know. And I had two weddings that day. So I was like trying to get it done too so I can get to my next wedding. And I just really didn't need that to happen, but it happened. I was able to fix it, and the cake wasn't the most stable. And the bride was like, she's like, I know this was a hard task. And we had talked about it multiple times. She came in for multiple tastings. I was trying to convince her to do the Italian meringue buttercream. I was really
Yeah.
trying. I was like, here, you could just do this and taste it tastes good, right? But she really wanted that with mascarpone. So I made it work. Was it the most stable cake ever? No. And like it's just there's only so much I can
Did
do.
she
I'm
love it
not a
though?
magician. She loved it.
Okay.
It actually like held up together pretty well. Um like I usually bring the cake at a certain time
Yeah.
too, like
Mhm.
later on to where like you take your pictures and then you're gonna cut that
Yeah.
cake up. So it didn't have to like be outdoors for a long time. And I don't know if I mentioned that it was outdoor wedding as well. So
I
there was
assume since we were
wind.
talking about hot.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
wind. It wasn't that hot, which was good, but
that's good.
still, yeah.
Yeah, I know that can be an issue. The heat can be an issue. I've been at a number of weddings where they'll bring out the cake from the refrigerator.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although one wedding, it was what we discussed this in a different if in a different video about day of coordinators that are just the venue and they really don't care too much about the couple.
Mm,
Well, they
yikes.
had ordered the cake, full on cake, And the day of coordinator went and got the little topper, which looked like a little bundt cake, and brought it out to cut. And I said, the bride talked to me and she said, "Oh, this isn't our cake. We ordered a full-size cake." So I was like, okay. So I went and talked to the lady because that's what I do. I used to do wedding planning, so it's really hard for me not to step in
Mhm.
and like be at that role of coordinator if
Yeah.
I need to be. And she's like, "Oh no, they didn't buy it. They didn't purchase it." And she insisted. I'm like, "Can you go back and look?" She's like, "No, they didn't buy it." She was really snotty
And
about it.
by what?
The cake and the full-size cake. She just brought out the topper for the cake that she was supposed to put on. No,
Wouldn't they know what they paid for?
exactly. And come to find out, I talked to when I delivered her wedding photos. Yeah, she told me that the cake was in the refrigerator the whole time, and the day of coordinator just didn't was too lazy to go and check.
Oh my gosh, that is terrible.
Yeah, which is again why I am not a big fan of going with weddings where everything is included because I want to have a
Mhm.
person, like a person that is their specialty is whatever that specific thing is.
Yeah.
And if it's cake, you have somebody to contact,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, no, I don't know how to necessarily like feel about because like sometimes I've had people reach out to me for cakes and then they realize that the cake is actually included in like with the venue, and so then like they kind of back out, and it's like, well, like as a you know, someone who specializes in cake, I don't know exactly how to feel about that because it's like, okay, well maybe I need to be on that vendor list, so I can like be that resource to people. But then I feel like in a way it also like having a something so custom
Yeah,
included also diminishes its value in a way.
it does.
And I feel like my work is very valuable.
Yeah.
So,
It's the same
um,
with photographers. The times that I have lost, I'm gonna say lost clients, where clients didn't book me, it was
mhm,
because they went with a cheaper photographer that was included in the venue.
mhm.
And they're like, "We loved you so, so much, but we have a specific budget and we're gonna stick to it." And it's like,
Yeah,
that's
which is
fine.
understandable.
However, when you're talking about something like photography, going with somebody that's cheaper or food even, like
No, there's some things you cannot skim on.
yeah, you just like the people have to enjoy the food. I've been at more weddings that I can count where it was just like dried chicken and pasta, and it's just like nobody barely ate the food. It wasn't very fun.
Mhm.
The DJ was awesome, so that kind of saved everything.
Uh, it's a
Um,
party.
right, exactly. But I've been to, but everybody has the things that are important to them, and if cake and food
Mhm.
is important to them, then you just go with whatever the venue provides, and you just don't care, just don't expect to get anything special or custom.
Yes, exactly. So what are like the top three things like as far as when it comes to weddings? Like what are your top um
Important things for art.
important things to book for? Like what are you prioritizing when it comes to the budget for a wedding?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, that's hard because the venue often takes a big portion of that right off the top. So the
Yeah.
venue,
Well, I
our
guess outside of the venue because obviously the venue is
yeah.
the most important.
And that
Yeah.
also like I did do a video where I was like, here's the thing, you're gonna have two different options for a venue. You're gonna have a venue that includes things in it. Well, you have
Hmm.
three, an all-inclusive venue, a partially inclusive venue, or a DIY type venue where you can bring in all your vendors. I recommend if you are a person is attention to detail, you
Hmm.
gotta do the DIY, bring in all your vendors type
Yeah.
of the venue. And in that case, you're gonna spend less money on your venue and then after that, my
Mm-hmm.
big budget is obviously food is really high up on the list
Hmm.
and photo and video. And that's because what you have left at the end is photo and video. And
Yeah.
I invested 10,000 in mine and unfortunately my video footage was great. My photographer basically just dropped the ball that day of. I'd seen his
Oh,
work
yeah.
before. Some of the photos were fantastic, but it wasn't the type of photojournalism that I deliver to my clients.
Mm.
And I know he can because I've worked with him before, but he
Yeah.
just didn't
Oh,
for my
that's
wedding, and it was really
unfortunate.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like I feel like the photos is like really high on the list.
Yeah.
So did you have like separate photo and video? Like
Yeah,
one.
because I stupidly just went with my, well, it's not stupid. I went with my heart and I went with a somebody who was my mentor and I worked with him and he doesn't offer photo and video. I offer photo and video. And I do that specifically so that I can art direct the whole thing and it's cohesive. But I
Yeah.
did find a videographer who's very close to my style of video. And the
Hmm.
photographer, we had long conversations. We almost fired him after our engagement photos. But he was like, after I saw a couple of the full weddings that he did, I was like, no, no, I love that. I love the artistic style you have. Definitely want this. Just make sure and include an abundance of photos for photo that are like photojournalistic. We don't want
Okay.
them to be all artsy photos.
Okay.
Um, I love his artistical style.
Hmm.
It was clear it was more about his artistical style than it was about capturing the day.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to I think like with photography, like I've met a lot of photographers. I know a lot of photographers who don't necessarily do weddings because they like first off they're really hard, and they may not even enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, and their work is so different from like what wedding photography is. Like I feel like it's very like in the moment,
Hmm.
like naturalistic lifestyle, if that makes sense,
And I do see my photographer, he loves doing weddings. Like he's
Mhm.
passionate about doing weddings. He loves it. And his art is just great, but he's also a man, and I think men don't always think that, oh, we need to capture every moment the way women do.
Mhm.
But
I'm like capture everything.
yeah, as I second shot for him, I was like, you know how I photograph, you know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And part of me does wish we had gone with a different photographer in the end and just lost the deposit because I was crying when I
No,
saw my photograph. And the
no.
cake photos were horrible.
Ah,
I got
sad
one good
face.
cake photo, and then he didn't take any photos of the food.
Oh gosh.
So I'm just like, well, okay, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I think I actually took a
Yeah.
photograph. I had my phone on me. I think I might have taken a picture of my plate.
Hmm.
And just so you know, if you're like, oh well, people have bring their phones and they can take photos. Trying to get to
Yeah.
give you their photos after the wedding, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah. So how do you like, is like there like I feel like there's something to solve that though, like maybe a QR
Oh,
code that they can
yeah, yeah.
upload their photos to or
And
something.
had I known, and I probably just should have done that just as a just in case, especially
Hmm.
after the concerns I had with him.
Yeah.
Um, and I probably should have done that, but there were so many things I was doing myself. And I was just bummed because there's only one good photo of the cake, and I had it was and I'm like I wanted to share food photos with the cake designer and the caterer. I
Yeah.
should reach out to the caterer. I'm sure they actually probably took their own photos because they do prefer
Hopefully.
that.
Because they were at the event,
Yeah.
like
So,
catering. So yeah, they probably did.
but
For me, I always take photos of the cake.
yeah,
Like,
actually, I should reach out to the cake decorator and be like, "Do you
yeah, they
happen to
probably
have photos
have
of my
photos.
cake?" Because the photographer really stuck. And then I forgot to leave the flowers for her to put on because I was going to leave some orchids for her to put on, and I totally
Ooh, I
forgot to
love
do that.
orchids and cake. So
Yeah, I was so
gorgeous.
bummed. And of course, my day of wedding coordinator was she was great up until the day of the wedding. And
Oh,
then the day of the wedding, she had a whole list of things to do, and she literally did not do any of them correctly.
oh,
She didn't even
okay.
follow the planogram correctly for for the seating arrangements. And then someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, did you know your seating chart is wrong?" It's like, "No, my seating chart's not wrong. The photographer, the planner." So this is actually why I started the YouTube channel, is
Yeah,
because
so many
there's a
things
lot of like
go
trauma.
wrong. Yeah, it sounds like it.
But the
Yikes.
cake was not one of them. And the last minute, she
Yay.
added on a layer the week before the wedding, and she was so sweet to say, "Yes, I can do that."
Yeah. Well, that's nice. Yeah, because usually, like, for me, I want everything finalized at like, at least a month in advance. But I have like, it just depends on what it is. Um,
It was a simple cake. So like it was just the fondant and then it was like she just it was Milky Way Galaxy, so it had the Aurora Borealis painted
nice.
on it and then like trees on it on the outside. So it was
Oh,
fairly simple to put together.
doesn't sound simple. It sounds like some effort
All
into
right, well
it.
let me see if I can pull up this photos.
Yeah,
Give me a
actually, I'm
second.
curious to see it. The one photo you got.
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple photos, but
Oh,
like I
good
said, they're
one.
not, the color was totally off. The second
Interesting.
shooter actually did a way better job than the primary photographer. So let's see if I
Well,
can.
why was the color off? Like, there's like editing involved in
Yeah,
it.
I don't know what he did exactly. And I tried to fix it.
Mhm.
He overexposed it. That's what he did. He overexposed it. And
Um,
so, but this is the one good one. So let me open it. Wait a second.
maybe the raw photo is better.
All right. Oops, that's the wrong. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Wow.
I was excited. It was it like I
Journey
said, it
to the
was,
moon and back. So
and
beautiful.
you know what? We only threw out maybe a third of it, which is pretty good for a wedding
What's the
cake.
what's the background?
Oh, that's just a backdrop I put behind it to keep
Oh,
it a
wow.
theme. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So it was great. We cut into, I think, the bottom section of it, which
Mm-hmm.
I think was, I don't know. I don't remember now. I think the carrot cake was the middle. The top was the red velvet, and I think the bottom was the chocolate with the raspberry
Raspberry.
something or other, whatever you call it.
Raspberry preserves or something like that.
Preserves. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, so yeah, that was our cake. The and one person I talked to, they were gonna, oh, the person I didn't hire, she was rude even before. She's like, you're gonna have to sign an agreement that you're not gonna get mad at us because this is going to color your mouth for photos.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I actually did a wedding cake that was like navy, it was navy blue, and the bride wanted it very bright. And so I like saved a little bit, like I had like leftover ingredients. So I decided to make like it was my friend's birthday, so I made her like a little side cake with the
Mhm.
leftover ingredients. And when we were eating the cake, we were like, "Oh my gosh, like our teeth were so blue."
Yeah.
And we are like, their wedding photos are gonna be terrible,
But
just like
the
all the
cake is at
blue.
the end of the wedding, and so I was like, it doesn't matter. All the formals have been done and taken by the time I cut the cake. It needs
Yeah, that's
cake.
true. The cake is one of the last things I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
I
like, I
hope
don't
I get
care.
this before.
But she was a bit snotty about it. Like I said, it was not a good experience with that person. But
Hmm.
the other lady didn't. I think she did mention it. I'm like, yes, I know that it's going to dye my lips and my tongue
Hmm.
black or blue.
Hey, it's food coloring, and then you want a certain color, you kind of have to put a decent amount. Like I try to put as like minimal as possible, but there's only so much I can do. And sometimes I think like there's also like only so much you can do as far as color matching when
Yeah,
it comes to, at least with buttercream for sure. With fondant, you can get closer to the color that you want.
yeah.
I would say like some of those brighter, darker colors, you can get closer to them.
Sorry if I'm distracted. My dog is very active over here walking in circles and she's blind, so she keeps running into things. And I'm like,
Oh,
are you
fun.
okay?
Yeah.
So do you have, I'd love to see some of the most extravagant cakes that you've done.
Oh, yes. Let me see if I can pull up some.
Do
There's
you
one.
ever do cupcakes?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like for a while there, it was very popular, and it kind of still is, I guess, to do smaller cut cakes, and then the rest cupcakes. Like, so you have the cut cake that you cut, and then you have cupcake.
Uh-huh. So you can, I don't, for me, I also have something else. Like I have cupcakes, but then I also have mini cakes.
Oh, nice.
So they get like the full attention of detail as like an actual um like wedding cake per se, but just like in mini form. So they're super cute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's one that the photographer shared with me from a wedding that I did in the San Jose area. Let me see if I can photos. Oh, there's like so many ways to share. So I'm like, which way should I choose?
Let you share it, all right? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Do you see it?
Oh my goodness. I love that.
Thank
Are those
you.
real flowers on it?
Those are real flowers. So the bride showed me like a photo that had like actual gum paste flowers and I was like, I don't think you want to pay me to do that. It's gonna be a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you're not gonna eat them as
Mhm.
well. So I think like using fresh flowers is a really great alternative and they look very beautiful. I
That's so
love
pretty. Like I said, I
flowers.
was bummed that I didn't put orchids on mine, but it still ended up looking okay.
You honestly, like for your design, I don't think like looked really great. I
Yeah.
don't think it necessarily needed any flowers per se. Like some cakes don't necessarily need flowers, I feel like. I think it's very common to have flowers on a cake.
Yeah.
Um, like for me, the majority of my cakes have flowers on them, I would say.
Yeah.
It's something that like is usually included in my pricing too, like at least,
I was about to ask if it's the florist that gives them to you or if you get them yourself.
so both.
Okay.
So, usually it's the case where people will add they won't have a florist that they're working with.
Hmm.
So I will utilize my florist
Hmm.
in order to provide the flowers. And then if they are working with the florist, then the florist will just leave the flowers on the cake table and I will place the flowers on the cake. Or there's kind of like a combination of both because my cake does include sunflowers. So I'm providing
Yeah.
some flowers and then also the florist is providing, some more
Yeah.
to kind of um, provide like that design that they want. And sometimes we use like flowers on the cake table as well, like as some decorative pieces. So yeah.
So I'm sure people are wondering how much something like that kind of a cake runs.
So that cake it's actually my petite like wedding cake.
What?
So yeah, it's actually like I guess a petite three-tiered. It's my smallest three-tiered cake
Wow.
and it feeds 70 people. So like a normal or I guess like standard wedding cake size is usually around 120, 150, something like
Mhm.
that is like a very common size. And so that cake, like it would be around more like $1,500 to $2,000. Yeah.
The petite one?
Hmm.
Okay.
Because
I
of
mean, that's
because
really
of the
intricate.
design.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
design is really intricate,
Hmm.
for sure. I think so. Ours fed 90, and I don't even remember how much. I feel like it was because we added another tier. So I ended
Okay.
up thinking it ended up being about 1,200, but it
Okay.
wasn't a super intricate. Like she was able to cut the outline of the trees out, I believe,
Hmm.
and it wasn't. She said herself that it wasn't super intricate. Like she could,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's not necessarily. Um,
I'd love to see some more. Do you have any more to pull up? I love looking at cakes. They're so much fun for me.
yeah, I do. Let me see one second. All right. I can actually even pull up my website.
Oh, that even better.
Let's see. Where is
Oh, you mentioned San Jose. So you're located up in Sacramento, right?
no.
No, where are you located?
I'm actually located in the East Bay.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes.
that's where I'm at.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. So I service all over the Bay Area, Greater Bay Area, and I've
Okay.
done like cakes um in other like states as well.
Oh,
So
lovely.
I do really travel all over. I will say I like traveling for cakes. It like presents a challenge and it's kind of fun
Yeah,
to figure out things. But yeah, so
I love that. The flowers. It's simple but beautiful.
yes. And this was provided by their flowers and oh the flowers were so gorgeous. I'm like, I love these flowers so much. And I will say this tree trunk cake stand is very popular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people constantly want that from me. You can see there's another one there.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's funny because I remember seeing that a lot in 2018. I'm surprised it's still super popular.
yeah, I get it requested all the time, honestly.
I love it. It makes it unique and pretty for photographs.
Exactly. Yeah, these are some of the couples that I've served, and this cake was a lot of fun too.
Oh, that's
People
cute.
really like the rosy pink
Yeah.
cake. And yeah, that was
Oh, look at that older couple. So cute.
yeah, really
Oh, I
like.
love that. That's this like the white with the red roses on it. Ugh,
Mhm. And if you look like closely, like people are always surprised, like there is some
design
extra
on it.
detail on there as well.
I love that. That's so great.
Thank you. There's some cupcakes. People really like these
Oh, yeah,
cupcakes.
those are pretty.
Thank you. And let me see, I'll go to my gallery actually.
Oh, those look yummy.
Oh, the mini cakes.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's so
here's
cool.
some of my work. That was actually the ice cream
Wow, that's
cake.
tall. Sorry, I just saw the
Oh yeah, that's a very, very tall cake.
dang. How do
So
you keep that upright?
well, you have to make sure that it's stable. So like with you utilize dowels and like really sturdy cake boards. They're called like cake drums
Okay.
in between the tiers
Hmm.
to provide some support. Yeah. So I can do up to 6 tier cakes.
Wow.
And then it's also like when you're doing cakes like that tall, it's also good to put like a center dowel in the middle to like kind of keep it together.
Yeah,
Yeah, so here's some more. This was like a Spanish tile kind of
that's
theme.
so cool.
And people also really they really love like the gold paints
Hmm.
on the cakes, that sort of detail.
So what's your process when you're designing this with individuals?
So usually people will they have like an inspiration photo that they'll share with me, or they like describe what they're looking for, and I will have them first like fill out a consultation form to give me those details. Then we will I like usually will put together a quote for them and like have a meeting with them like via Zoom and kind of show them like my they kind of explain what they want first, and then if they're not necessarily sure what they want, I can also like offer suggestions or past work that I've done, or a lot of people actually too leave it up to my artistic expression too.
That's lovely.
Yeah, which is really cool. It's like, oh, you trust me. So,
I was
um,
pretty detailed. I found what I wanted on Pinterest and I was like, can you do this?
yes, and I do like when people come to me with that as well. Like I feel like I'm a very I'm very like structured, but then so like I like having some sort of like structure
Yeah.
to like go off of, or like a starting point is always nice, so that I'm not like completely
Like
going
a
in the
theme at
dark.
least. If somebody has a
A
theme for their
theme,
wedding.
exactly.
This one wedding I did, it was in the first couple years I was doing weddings, and she had a book themed wedding. So she had a
Ooh,
wedding cake that was books, shaped like
I
books.
love
It
that.
was
That's so
so cool.
beautiful.
I love doing themed weddings. I've only done a handful of them. That was one. I did a Disney one. I
Nice.
did a wedding fair that was all themed. Unfortunately, it was like literally 3 months before COVID happened. And
Oh boy,
all
wow.
my leads just went out the window from that. But that was
Face.
just so cool. I'm like, I love it when people have a themed wedding. I mean, I had a themed wedding, but it was a soft theme. It wasn't like
Hmm.
overtaken. But I love it when people are like dressed to the nines and it's like a
Yeah,
out, yeah,
it
crazy.
makes it fun. And like, I think when people do have like a theme or like even just like a color scheme, so like I'm making sure that I'm utilizing the right colors or, you know, they like a particular style, that's
Mhm.
usually helpful. Like, okay, I'm going for something more rustic or I'm going for something very elegant. Like, there's a lot of different ways that we can go, or like even gothic or
I like that gothic. Used to be super
yeah.
into gothic stuff.
Yeah, I honestly really like doing the Gothic designs. Like I do a few different like fairs.
Yeah.
Um, and actually at one of my fairs, I'll show you this. Let me see
People
if
said mine, the Milky Way galaxy, people are calling it the dark rainbow. So I had a little bit of like a dark theme about it because I didn't know it was called the dark rainbow.
oh,
What
I
I
didn't
chose was
know
called
that either.
yeah, so it's when you it was like rainbow colors, but it was all the dark end of the spectrum.
I
Which is what
see.
it was just Milky Way galaxy, but if you think about it, it was like my bridesmaids dresses were oh, I'll show you while you're looking up yours as well.
Okay,
Uh and you'll see what I mean by the dark rainbow.
let's see. I want to show you this is a cake that my aunt, so my aunt designs like, what do you
Oh,
call it? Like fake cakes, faux cakes.
okay.
And
Oh,
so,
so this is what I mean by dark rainbow. It's a different end of
oh,
the spectrum.
yeah, super pretty.
Yeah, and then of course I added in some greens and the decor had some of that Aurora Borealis type
Wait,
green.
is that you? Oh
That's
my
me.
gosh.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Your
I
dress
did
is
my own
gorgeous.
florals too.
Wow.
I have a video right before this where I'm saying, I mean, I don't recommend doing it unless you're not DIYing the rest of your wedding. But yeah, I'll stop sharing seconds because I want to see yours.
Yeah, no, you're fine. That's so funny. Okay, so let me see. I think I may have just, when you think you posted something, but
Oh
you
yeah.
you really just posted it to your story, I guess.
Oh yeah, and then it disappears.
Yeah, I'm like, I thought I posted this, but I have another photo of it that I can show you, but I'm in it too. So you'll just see me as well. All right, let's see. Let's share. Start broadcast. All right, you can see my screen.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did this Woman of Oddities fair, and I had done another fair that was kind of like Mary Gothmas, like during like Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I had like my white faux wedding cake, and people were like, "Where's the black cake? You have any black cakes?" Like, and I'm like, I can definitely do that, but I was like, I told my aunt, I need you to create this for me, and she did. And I was very happy with That's her with it.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of quinceañeras, and if they do the fake cakes.
Oh, nice. And some people do, like she's able to like do that for people if they want it. I do like some faux cakes as well, but I use like real buttercream like on the outside.
Yeah.
So you kind of think it's a real cake for sure.
I've done the
Um,
what was real on the bottom so that they could cut it. And again, this is for a quinceañera. And then the rest of it was all faux.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't know that people. I guess I have seen people cut at the bottom. I guess that is a thing, but I
Yeah.
thought people usually cut at the top. But if the cake is so tall, then they're probably just cutting at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm most of the time when I'm photographing, they're not cutting the top because the top traditionally is for your 1 year wedding anniversary.
That makes
Yeah,
sense
so we
too.
actually, when I photograph, it's almost always the bottom, and it's just a little piece from the bottom. It's not a whole slice. It's just like a
Yeah,
little
of
bit.
course.
And so
To
that's where
keep
I
in
usually
mind.
photograph from. Also,
Hmm.
because when they do the middle or higher, their hands will slip and hit the frosting or the decor or something underneath it.
I
And by
see.
this time, a lot of times the couples have had something to drink. I had one
Ah,
groom that was completely three sheets to the wind. And it's a good thing that I
yeah.
got photographs that I got because I mean the bride was not happy with him.
No, he
It
had
was
too
so
much
bad.
fun. That's so
So, but
funny.
you can't really tell from the photographs because I curate
Good.
to only
You're a
take the nice
professional.
ones. Yes. I'm like, I tell the story, but I'm hoping she doesn't, that she, when she thinks back on her wedding, she doesn't think about that too much.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of like, it has to be moderation. Like, you want to be, that's the thing I feel like on your wedding day, you want to be able to actually enjoy
Yeah.
um all that you're paying for. Like, if you're doing open bar, like, I want to utilize the open
You just
bar,
don't want to get so drunk where you're not remembering it. And like that,
Yeah,
I have
that's
photographed
a
a
bit
couple of
rough.
weddings like that where the groom literally barely remembered it. And then I was a guest at a wedding one time where the groom got completely wasted the night before, and it was such a drama.
Oh
And
no.
he was barely functional. He did pull it together for the wedding day, but boy howdy. Oh my goodness.
Whoa, that's
I'm
wild.
thankful that I was a guest at that wedding and
Ah!
not the photographer.
Not having to manage things and step into wedding planner mode, wedding coordinator. mode.
Right. I was really thankful. Well, if we've been chatting for a while, I mean, we could go on and on. Us wedding vendors, I mean, this is what we do. We can talk and talk and talk about this. But what in conclusion, what would this one thing you would warn against when choosing flavors for the wedding? Is there anything that you might warn against?
I guess like I wouldn't choose any flavor that like you're not gonna enjoy personally. I think sometimes couples are like thinking only about the guests, like, oh, what are the guests going to enjoy? But you also want to, like, you're paying for a cake that is for your wedding day. So, like, pick the flavors that you want, and not necessarily always thinking about the guests. Like, of course, the guests, if it's a very good flavor, they're going to enjoy it, you
And
know?
which ones like save the best long for like if you want to do the year anniversary, like is there a specific flavor or kind that save the best and ones that save the worst?
So out of my flavors, I would say my sweet potato cake
Oh, it's just
freezes
so good.
very
I
well.
tried it. That was incredible.
Yeah, thank you. That's my personal favorite cake, like outside of a couple others. But people really enjoy that cake and it freezes like completely well. Like
Oh,
you
nice.
can wrap it up and,
What do
put
they
it
put for
in.
the filling? Usually, is it like a cream or?
So usually I like to do just like a vanilla bean buttercream, or some people switch it up and they get very creative and I'm like, okay, you're giving me ideas. So sometimes I'll do a caramel buttercream,
Mm.
coffee flavored buttercream goes well with it as well. So you can have some, other flavors in there and still have like a really delicious cake that's gonna hold up well.
That's good.
So yeah, sweet potato, carrot cake, I would say the banana cake, not necessarily the banana pudding cake because it has the pastry cream filling inside and those the bananas, the fresh bananas. So,
Yeah, it'll go
I
bad,
would
right?
yeah, I would avoid definitely like fresh fruit kind of fillings that aren't like heavily preserved with fillings. I would say my peach cobbler cake could actually do very well.
Okay, now I want to try it. Okay, you got to bring that to one of these wedding
Yeah,
fairs because I
I
want to try
know.
that.
I know it's sometimes it's harder to make samples for certain types of cakes because you're not really fully enjoying and all of it what it is, like
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
true.
little more
True.
difficult, but if you want to try the cake, I really
Well, you said you're
recommend
in the
doing
East
mini
Bay. I mean, I
cakes.
could always, where
Yeah.
are you in the East Bay?
So I'm gonna be in Oakland now.
Okay, Oakland. I'm in
Mhm.
Martinez.
Oh yeah.
I have clients in Oakland actually that I have a portrait side of my business and I have
Uh-huh.
clients that like all the decor in their house are portraits I've taken. So I am in Oakland quite often
Nice.
working with them. So, and then of
I
course
really
doing weddings. I like weddings in Oakland are there's some really pretty venues.
do a lot of weddings in Oakland, yes. And you can have like a variety of different types of venues there. Like you
Hmm.
can really choose this type of setting that you want. Yeah.
Have you done a wedding up at the Space Center? The Space.
Oh my gosh, actually, I'm going to in when is that wedding? I think it's in November, and I'm actually really excited about this wedding because it's like a galaxy kind of theme,
Hmm.
like design. So I'm really excited about that. But also, they kind of like they came to the tasting
Hmm.
and they fell in love with two different flavors. So they fell in love with my Sakatami cake, which is like a white cake with brown sugar, cinnamon, and
Mm.
pecan streusel.
Oh my
Like it's
gosh.
baked inside the cake layer. And then they also fell in love with the sweet potato cake, and they just like could not
Yep,
choose
that's what
like
happened with
between
mine.
those. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But the thing is, they're ordering a two-tiered cake. It's still really big, but I only allow one flavor
Hmm.
for one and two tiered cakes. And so they decided to do a sweet potato cake with the Sakatami streusel in between the cake layers. And
Ah.
then a chocolate buttercream
Ugh.
on the outside and I think coffee buttercream on the inside.
That
So they're
sounds
like
so good. Who
creating,
are these people? I need to befriend them.
right? Like you need to be on that list.
I know. That sounds so good. That was
I'm
a
like, I
venue we were thinking about going with and had a bad experience there.
didn't.
With I think they have one of those revolving that I don't even think she works there anymore, but there was a
Okay.
person. We went to an open house there and we're
Okay.
like, this is really cool. Like there's so many different places you can get married. And I'm like, it's in Oakland. It'll be cool because August in Oakland is nice.
It is.
And I was
Oh,
just
the
like, oh,
weather's
this is
amazing.
great. And the person who hosted the event, I reached out and I was like, hey, just FYI, we pulled this price list from your website, and the difference in the pricing was like $3,000. It was
Oh,
significant. I just like, this is, I
wow.
mean, your new pricing is still within our budget, but I just want to let you know. And instead of
Mhm.
saying thank you, she's like, well, you need to show it to me. Show me where it is right now. And I'm like, I just got it off your website. I don't remember exactly where. And then I sent it to her. She's like, it clearly says in the file name, if you look into the details, the meta description, that it's from 2022. And I'm
Not
just
the
like,
meta
okay, that is not the way to talk to not only
description.
a wedding vendor, which I told her I was,
Yeah.
which there's also a video where I already called the space because I love the venue. I'm really hoping I actually left a bad review
Mhm.
and I just said, you need to remove this person from your list because your venue is gorgeous, but she is horrible and should not be at the
Um,
job of talking to potential clients because that is not a way to
yeah,
handle
no,
pricing.
where's the good customer service? Sad
And I
face.
was even wanting to get on their preferred vendor list, but I'm like, if I got to work with
Not
this,
after that, not have to do with that.
I'm hoping that she's not there anymore. It sounded like that wasn't she's like a marketing specialist person.
Hmm.
She didn't sound like she was like the day of coordinator. She's just the person who manages the marketing for the place.
Well, that's not very good marketing.
No, it's not. But I'm like, she's probably not the person that couples are gonna deal with, so that's good. But then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, your date's taken." Because I was like, we had a scheduled meeting. I said, "Can we meet sooner?" She's like, "That's the earliest I can fit you in." I was like, "Okay." And then after I was like, this was unprofessional. This is not. I was very nice about it, but I was just like, "I'm a wedding vendor. This was unprofessional."
Yeah.
Her response was like, "Well, it doesn't matter. It's canceled. Your date's taken." I was like, "Okay, it's not meant to be."
Doesn't matter how you treated me.
Yeah, we ended up like finding a place down in Paso Robles that was 2 days, it was 2 nights and 3 days for
Mhm.
$3,000 less than the Space Center thing.
Nice.
But I'm like, it would have been really cool because that was our
Yeah, especially with the
theme.
theme, it would
And
have
like,
been.
and then they let you th look through the telescope.
Yeah, the telescopes there are really, they have some legit
Right.
telescopes there.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I want
they're
to go there
huge.
just to tour and actually look at this on like a new moon day, or maybe when
Mm,
there's like, yeah, because then you can really see things in the sky. Um, but I still love the venue. I'm like, I'd still love to photograph there.
yeah,
My
it's great.
experience wasn't great, but I was like, it's such a beautiful venue. The view is to die for, and
Yeah,
it's
because it's like
just
up in the hills. Like
right. You just want to
it's a
make sure
great
you do it
space.
probably in the summer. You said it's November
It is. Why do you say summer instead of
because it's
November?
cold up there in November.
It is, but I mean it's indoor. So
That's true. That's true. That was
yeah.
the other thing. It was like, okay, we'll be indoors. Oh, I'd be curious to see because there was a place which
Or is it it could be it could be October too.
they
I
have an outdoor location, but they also the indoor is where they do it's this where you sit back in your seat and they do the whole show. What do you call
Yeah, I
that? I
think their
did it
guest
down
is
in
going to
LA.
experience a show.
Yeah. And I was like, that's cool, but you can't walk down the aisle. You have to walk down the sides. And it didn't
This is
align with my vision. But I was like, that's
mm,
fine. There's other places to get married. The venue's huge.
yeah, and I heard that venue does have a lot of rules too on
Oh,
like
does it
what you
really?
can and cannot have. I think they had said something about definitely no like if a lot of people have rules about no rice or
Oh,
um
that's
no
normal.
candles.
The
Just like
fire. I mean, they are in the middle of a forest, to be fair.
yeah, I think I mean obviously makes sense.
Yeah. And
I'm
who
not
throws
saying that it's
rice?
not.
People don't throw rice anymore because it's bad for the birds.
Yeah.
So,
Some of these traditions that we've,
yeah.
done over time are like, this is probably, but I think people are doing bubbles now.
Yeah.
Seems to be common.
I did
The
fake
bubble.
sparklers where it had like the twinkle lights and ribbon on it. And because you can't do sparklers in most places anymore, there's a
Hmm.
few. I have a one client that their venue actually allows sparklers. And I was like, oh, please tell me you're doing a grand exit. Do a grand exit. That'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Because it photographs really cool, especially if I open up the
Yeah.
shutter and I do a slow
Oh,
burst. It's
yes.
really
That would
cool.
be gorgeous. An
Well, I will
Instagram.
definitely have to connect because I would love to see how that cake
Yeah, for
looks.
sure.
And hopefully, I'd like to know who the photographer is because I want to see the photos from that. It sounds
Yeah,
like it's gonna be fun. So,
definitely.
yeah. Anyway, it was lovely chatting with you. It went longer than expected, but this is what happens when we're
Oh, you're
talking.
just chatting.
Right. So, but don't worry, I will be splitting this into shorts so
Okay.
people can take
Digest
it
it.
in bits and pieces. So
Yeah.
so it'll be on Pinterest and all that stuff. But it was so great chatting with you. So where can people find you? I'm definitely gonna post it in the link under
Yeah,
YouTube.
definitely. So people can find me on Instagram. My handle is at Goddess Noir Cakes, and that is Noir, Noir.
Mhm.
And then I also have my website, www.goddessnorcakes.com. You can find me there as well. And yeah, check out my work and check out my soulfully inspired cake flavors. Have some really yummy flavors and beautiful designs to match.
Tastes like a goddess. Is that, I would love to know real quick where
Cake,
you got the name from.
cake for a goddess. Well, so I wanted to definitely have a name that incorporates my culture.
Mhm.
So like definitely wanted I feel like queen, like in black culture we say, oh, you're a queen. That's definitely like we say that a lot, but I wanted something else, like kind of like a little bit elevated to like goddess status. And so like giving it like black goddess, and then also the fact that I do the soulfully inspired cake flavors attributing to my Black American culture. So
Yeah. Which I
yeah, I
love
wanted
that
something
because
elegant and
if you
yeah.
haven't had, it's like Southern type food. If you haven't gone to the South and had soul food, you're missing out.
Yes,
Okay, I'm just
it's
saying
my
that.
favorite food. I love soul food. I grew up. The reality is like I grew up eating soul food, like even in California, like because my
Yeah,
family is from New Orleans and Oklahoma, so definitely had a lot of soul food a part of my life.
I
And just
love New
like
Orleans. I've been there. The food was fantastic.
oh yeah. Yeah, I it's crazy because like for me, I it's like so normalized. So it's like I love my mom's gumbo and I feel like I'm really biased. But yeah,
That's what's great
it's
about the Bay Area. I mean, for all its faults and the cost of living and stuff, the food is like the best in the world because you can throw a stone 10 feet and hit
mm,
20 different kinds of food, or
oh,
people who live
definitely
near you that make food from all over the world. And that is just, we're
very
so spoiled
multicultural.
here.
Yes. No, I love all the variety of foods and here in the Bay Area, and I'm glad that I get to like have a business like incorporating my culture into my baked goods. So, yeah.
Lovely. All right. Well, it's lovely chatting with you, and we will be in touch soon. And
Sounds good.
I will be back, everybody. I will be interviewing. I have another interview on the books. It's going to be a wedding planner, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you next time.